Tonight on Crack Conspiracy Theories, we will find out what really happened to Flight 370 Malaysia Airlines.
Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was a scheduled international passenger flight that disappeared on March 8, 2014, while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia, to its destination, Beijing Capital International Airport in China. The aircraft was carrying 12 Malaysian crew members and 227 passengers from 15 different nations that would not know that day that they would not make it back home to their loved ones. With the loss of 239 people on board, Flight 370 is the second deadliest incident involving a Boeing 777 and the second deadliest incident in Malaysia Airlines history.
Hi, my name is Alex Hawking, and I am head ATC at the Malaysia International Airport.
My name is Peter Cox. I represent the TSA agents from Malaysian International Airport.
Hi, my name is Mark LaRose. I'm the director of the NTSB, which is the National Transportation Safety Board. We will be leading this investigation on Malaysian Flight 370.
Last known contact that the pilot had with the air traffic control was at 1:19 MYT time zone, but it was still tracked on the military radar when it deviated west from its original flight plan, going to the ocean.
Was it a terrorist attack? Was it a hijacking? We really don't think so. We think that the passengers and the crew of this airplane were working together to live a new life.
After the events of 9/11, it is currently impossible to hijack an aircraft. The cabins where the pilots are bulletproof and fireproof. The only way that they could successfully take over the plane is by will. So the pilots themselves either had to let the person in the cockpit or take control of the plane themselves and bring it to the island.
Many different things found in the passengers' luggages show that they were planning on surviving and living off the grid for a countless amount of years.
We checked our records and we looked at all the footage we had from the scanner where the luggages had went through. Nothing had raised any alarms at the time of the flight, but once we had relooked at the footage, we could notice some weird things had been found. Many different systems have been found. For example, we have found what looks to be a urine filtration system, a water filtration system, and many different looking things that seem to be able to save lives. After thorough investigation, we've came to the conclusion with nature experts and survival experts that these people had only brought enough to survive about 10 to 12 years on the island. If not, they would die.
January 29, 2017. Boat sinks in Rough Sea just off the Malaysia coast. 23 people rescued, but 6 still missing. Was the boat going to this island and only 6 people made it? Or was it truly just for tourism purposes? The boat was carrying lots of vital supplies such as lots of non-perishable foods and clothing. Are all passengers living on this self-sufficient island and just need a little bit of help from the outside world? On March 8, 2014, the day the plane disappeared, there were no cries for help, no communication with air traffic control. I was in the tower that day trying to reach them, but there was nothing, as if people were happy and worryless. Life was good. Does that mean all passengers were on board with this plan and got what they wanted? A life on a deserted island? No connection to the outside world? Was this planned months in advance? According to aviation experts, this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't strong winds or bad weather influencing the flight path, but a pilot directing the plane manually to get to the destination in particular. If we follow the flight path, it brings us right to the Andaman Islands, part of India. With all the technology, it's impossible the plane is lost. It's clearly on these islands hidden, out of society's view, where no one will bother them and they will live their lives as they wish. These natives wanted to simply live as their ancestors did many years ago.
This was the most well-funded and the largest worldwide investigation for any aircraft situation ever happened. The Malaysia decided to do a joint investigation team from the UK, US, France, Malaysia themselves, and China. This cost $20 million to investigate the disappearance of Malaysian Flight 370 because there was no plane to find. With hours and hours and days of searching, no team could bring up any real evidence. The NTSB cannot recover the black boxes. Due to the autopilot on all new aircrafts that Boeing makes, it was very easy for anybody or even the pilots to fly the plane. All he has to do is just put coordinates into the machine and it will land for you. That's how good they are right now. The transponders and signals are very easily accessible to the captain and co-pilot, which are easily turned off, turned back on at will. The only thing that they can't control is the radar, but they went out of the ranges of the radar, so no one can really track them anymore. And no other countries want to display their information on radar because it shows how powerful, one, their radars are, and two, that they have a radar surveillancing the other country. Boeing 777 has Boeing's new stopping system, which is stronger brakes on the wheels and also on the wings with the air brakes, and also the engine reverse. This makes it so that the 777 can stop on very, very, very short runways, which is possible to be on a small island, or if ever it has a very good space cushion and a very strong underbelly, so it could be bellied or semi-crashed. In conclusion, all of the factors that I've said before make a great case so that the plane was taken control of, rerouted through the autopilot, and landed either safely or we don't know. But odds are it's probably on an island.
The family members of the 227 missing people. They find out that their families and loved ones are gone forever. For some, the pain is just too much to handle. But can anyone really handle such a big loss like that? Is this fake? Can these people really be acting? Because they knew that their families would be gone forever. They knew that once their family members got onto that airplane, that they would never see them again. So why are they crying? Why do they look like they're in pain? We believe that it's just all an image. It's a portrayal of sadness. They want us to believe that they are sad and that they are hurt, but they are not really, because they knew this would happen. But they are still acceptant, because at the end of the day, they let them get on that plane. They let them leave without telling anybody what they were planning. These people are loyal to their family members. They are part of it too. But we cannot prove any of that. And these people cannot be accused of that because no one has proof. As we look at the map of the South China Sea, we can observe that there are many different areas that are just vast bodies of water. We find millions and millions of different little islands that can be livable and can have fertile grounds to plant on and to survive on. As the days go by like a running stream, we ask ourselves if we have really been fooled by these people, if they in fact vanish in midair on purpose. Do they have what it takes to survive in the nature like our past people have? Like the caveman, with no identification, no ties to the real world? Can they really survive it? Families will be broken, loved ones will be lost, but they will never be forgotten. This is the greatest disappearance that any human has ever pulled off. We will remember them, and we will never forget them, because Malaysian Flight 370 will always be in our hearts. People have died, people have escaped prisons like Alcatraz, but no one has ever disappeared and vanished out of thin air. It is a curious thing, the death of a loved one. We all know that our time in this world is limited, and that eventually all of us will end up underneath some sheet, never to wake up again. And yet, it is always a surprise when it happens to someone we know. It is like walking down the stairs to your bedroom in the dark and thinking there is one more stair than there is. Your foot falls down through the air, and there is a sickly moment of dark surprise as you try and readjust the way you thought of things.
I'm on my way,
enough fuel to do its journey.
Good. Many different little things, like axes, lighters, axes, and the scanners. just cut it to us. Keep it at the Ethan. People who are wanted in certain countries. Okay, wait. What is? Cut it. Shh. Ethan. And I could see you shaking your head. I swear, you're walking home. I was present.
Jello Beats, holla at me.